Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's Lair. I am your host, Larry the Chupacabra, and today we're going to be playing Dead Space for mobile. And this is an interesting game for Larry for a couple of reasons. Originally, I wanted to play this game when it first came out on the Android platform because it was in between Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 2, and Larry really needed his necromorph fix in space, and this was about as close as I was going to get until the actual game came out, like 4 months later, I think it was. And then it turns out I couldn't play this worth of crap originally, because it wasn't exactly the best optimized game for Android at the time. It was pretty well optimized for the iOS devices, because that's what it was designed for originally, but I couldn't play it on my Droid X, even though the Droid X was actually not an underpowered machine for when it was available. But now I've got a fancy Nexus 5, and it can pretty much just hork down this lovely game for no reason whatsoever. It's just a really powerful phone, and this game has been optimized very slightly. So we're going to start a new game. We're just going to play on normal difficulty. There isn't a hard difficulty or anything. And let's go for an adventure.
Good morning, everyone. Coming up on today's show, budget problems for the Sprawl.
Speed it up. We still got half a ton on our quota before we can all go home for the day.
Stable in Public Sector 3.
Environment screen on Sector 6 is still experiencing problems, and residents are preparing a petition.
Tethers in place. Mining charges ready.
Environment check. Stable in Public Sector 1.
All right. Crew relief's here. Let's go home, guys. Just another beautiful day on the Sprawl.
Audio log rig number 438642. I've been selected for a secret mission down in the core systems on the Shard. I hope I can do them proud. All can be praised.
Alright, so we start off our adventure here today inside of the Sprawl, or like one of the Sprawl's outer mining stations, and we are gonna do some suspicious sabotagey things as an agent of the Church of Unitology. Should sound somewhat familiar from the first game, or at least the first movie that you would have watched from Dead Space that was kind of a prequel to the first game. The game runs actually pretty dang smoothly on my Nexus 5, and the other reason why I decided to play Dead Space, because it's been sitting in the App Store undownloaded for like a couple years now, is I wanted to restart my Let's Play playthrough of Dead Space 3 with my friend Ojaro, but wouldn't you know it, Origin screwed us over again, and they actually did an update to the system, or at least the Origin client, so that it broke a lot of older games' co-op functionality. So we're gonna have to wait even longer to pick that back up, which kinda sucks. So in the meantime, we're going to go unleash hell and get everyone murdered. And I'm just kind of talking over the starter information because it's just tutorial stuff. We're going to get like a saw, a laser saw, and we're going to go stab some stuff. Let's go into here, pop open this door.
To the cause. I'll be with you every step of the way. Start by using your plasma socket.
Chop open some laser boxes. And I apologize in advance to all of you guys who are watching this. I am a little bit under the weather yet. I am getting over a really, really bad cold that hit me while I'm having really bad spring allergies. So occasionally my voice may knock some phlegm loose into my breathy parts, and I'm gonna hack up a little bit. So, if you hear something that's like a clipped out sound, that's what that is. Because my audio sweetening that I run this thing through, I have a little processor that I clean up all my audio with after I'm done recording, will kajankle with the coughing. So just heads up in advance. Now we've got our plasma cutter, our good old-fashioned slicing dice plasma majig from the first game. And this is interesting because it uses the game's accelerometer to switch the orientation of the weapon, so that's kind of handy. Now we'll slice off these connector bits, where there should be ammo on the floor that I want, because I'm eventually going to have to shoot some necromorph zombies. So let's swap that here, and then there should be 2 more of these.
You'll need to rotate your plasma cutter to take some of these out.
And I've actually got the game set to auto-reload because, as nicely as EA and Visceral Games handled the touch controls in this game, there's just a lot to do when you're worrying about touch controls as opposed to just a set of limited buttons on a mouse and keyboard, which I am much more accustomed to. So, I'm basically just sabotaging this station, and I'm fairly certain we're just a new convert to the Church of Unitology, and they've sent us on a bit of a suicide mission to unleash the marker, and we're probably gonna get murdered a lot. I don't know. One thing I can say is, because it's a touch-based game, you lose a lot of the horror functionality of the game, because the whole thing has to run a little bit slower than your average game. At least for Dead Space, because touch controls, it's slower for people. And it's especially slower, the action is especially slower on easy mode. Well, actually, I don't actually know, because I never tried it, but that's the only thing I could really think of that they could do to make easy mode easy. Alright, that's a power node. And then eventually we'll be able to find benches to upgrade our shit at the power nodes. With the power nodes. The other thing I'm having an issue with is some of the touch controls are a little bit touchy, no pun intended. And they want you to, like, start shooting at stuff when I really just want to open a door or something. So, thankfully, they've actually got some, things in place to prevent that from being a problem. No, don't start shooting shit. Vandal, you spicy bastard. Let's put that, I guess, right there. That's fine, Vandal. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Alright, so the kinesis is a little weird. Can't say I've used it a lot, besides the basics. Now we'll finish sabotaging the mining facility and getting people murdered. It sounds like a perfectly reasonable afternoon.
Finished.
Oh, hi.
Excellent job, Vandal. What
Where the hell did you come from?
will stand in church history forever. You're a hero. Now get out of there and head to the church.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You just unleashed zombies and death. Just, no, it's cool. Just let it happen. And now we run away. They're coming out of the walls, Timmy! Run! They're running into the vents. Or, I guess, the black holes are vents in the walls. I remember right from the Ishimura.
You're to be one of the first blessed with ascension. You've followed the Sabotage the Sprawl, cutting off the minds locking you in, but don't be afraid. Your death will be glorious. A holy path of life beyond the death the church promised you.
Alright, so basically, the whole thing of the church here, I'm just gonna talk over the rest of this, that's why I put on subtitles like a good boy. The church has, betrayed us. They wanted us to be one of the first of their Ascended, and by Ascended they mean they want to turn us into one of the necromorphs. And, don't know if you realize this, Larry, not a fan of getting disemboweled by churchy people.
Attention ring number 438642. This is Director Tideman in the public sector. We've traced recent acts of sabotage to your suit. Identify yourself.
Call me Vandal. Listen, they didn't tell me what happened. I just did what the church told me. Now the bastards have left me for dead out here. So screw them, alright? I'll even testify if you want me to.
I don't think my colleagues will accept that. You've caused a lot of trouble, but there's a way to make up for some of the damage you've done. The emergency quarantine seal on crossover tube A has malfunctioned, and as an engineer, you have the tools to repair it.
Isn't there someone on your side that can do it? I'm fighting for my life down here.
You're much closer than anyone from the public sector. If you're truly remorseful, this is your chance to show it. Repair that seal, and it'll keep those monsters from reaching the population. It may even gain you some leniency, assuming you survive. Now hurry.
Alright, so much like the last game, as you get power nodes, also crazy, as you get power nodes, you can unlock these special storage rooms, which have goodies in them, if it wants to let me poke the goodies to have them. I love the goodies, why won't you let me have some game? Come on. Your touch controls are not that fiddly, EA. Let's do the thing. This is part of the issue I've had with some games. Contextual controls are tricky to begin with, let alone when you're trying to do them in a game where one tap enters firing mode. Let me see if I can use my little finger. Maybe I can switch it so that... Come on, Isaac. I want the goodies. I want them. Well, I guess you're not Isaac. You're Vandal, and I almost got stuck in a corner. Alright, so we've got all the goodies. So all these, like, power node chambers are still here. Also the crazy factor, still here. George has had a bad day, so there's that. What is over here? I think this is just a loop around, isn't it? Yup, that's just a big fat loop around, but I did get some more ammunition that I can't even use. And, there's Paul. How you doing, Paulie boy? Glad to see you're, juicy. So there's that, which is kinda good. And here's Frankie. Which, not super hard to engage the necromorphs. They do move a lot slower in this game, but they kinda need to, because, well, our controls not nearly as responsive. A lot more responsive than they were on my Droid X, but not super duper great. There's our stasis nodule. No, don't shoot the stuff, stupid.
Personnel are advised to refrain from using stasis on live organisms, as this may have unforeseen consequences.
How was it I activate stasis? Oh, that's right, it's on my back, it's his button. Alright, that's cool. So that just keeps us from being chopped into bits. Here's a door that's locked. And, probably a good thing to assume, anywhere that's, like, darkened, probably gonna need to murder something. Probably. I don't know how many of the necromorphs from the original game are in here, if there are too many of them. Probably a few of them. Come on, open the... Yes, I didn't need the ammo, but thank you. Why are they giving me so much ammo? Did I have to, like, plug that first necromorph or something?
Systems online.
Alright, so we just activated an exit somewhere with, I assume, is emergency power. Getting a lot of money, so I'm led to believe now, with all this money, that there may be upgradable things that we can purchase. So probably new cooler suits, because ours is kinda dingy and boring. And so far... Oh, good.
Everybody listen up. Use your tools and take off their limbs. It's the only way to slow the bastards down.
Cut them off at the joints, man! They don't like that so much.
Hey, everybody,
Oh, you know, surprisingly, for unstoppable monsters, super easy to just chop their heads off, as opposed to just, slicing off limbs.
Round 2. Designed to fire with minimal charge.
Alrighty, there we are.
Team lockdown lifted.
That wasn't so bad, Isaac. And you were not Isaac. I keep saying Isaac because I'm in full Dead Space mode now. I just can't help myself. There's goodies, but see, Vandal, and you were scared. These guys aren't anything to worry about. You may have peed a little, but it's cool. Larry won't tell anyone. But yeah, one of the things I have kind of noticed and I thought about before in this game was that the way that Visceral Games laid out the original Dead Space so that your power suit kind of functions as your health bar along your spine was actually pretty smart design, and it lends itself very well in a very native way to a smartphone interface. And honestly, I think what would have been pretty smart would have been if they had made it so that for better devices when you pay for this game, because this isn't a free game, you gotta buy this. Maybe to be so you can download like HD textures for this game, because this phone can handle it. I've got one of the souped up Nexus 5s with all that freaking storage that I'm never gonna use. But, you know, it could definitely run a lot more stuff on this phone. Although that could screw my recording a little bit. But that's life. The other thing that's kind of getting me is didn't play a lot of games on phones, but one of the things that's really screwing with me is having to have a cord sticking out of my phone while I record it. Because, like, that's how I record it. You know, I plug it into the phone, and it plugs into my capture card via an HDMI converter. It actually has to go through a splitter because... what the hell is all this about? This is like a maze. It goes through an HDMI splitter so that... oh, that's where the monster went into the vent, alright. So that I can get rid of the encryption, the HDCP encryption that is sitting on this phone. Which is lame, but it's whatever. I don't ask. Well, I do, because it pisses me off a little bit, but you know, whatever. Nothing I can do about it. I tried to jailbreak it to get rid of it. Only thing that did is prevent me from updating the phone, which is starting to annoy me all on its own. Alright, this seems like as good a spot as any to stop for right now. Thanks for joining me, Larry the Chupacabra, everybody, for some Dead Space on mobile. I'm probably gonna try to finish this at some point. It might take a while, because some of the controls are a little bit non-intuitive, or they are a little bit too intuitive, and you can't use the regular controls because of a dynamic control scheme. But anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that button for the next episode if it's available, and I will catch you next time. Have a good one, everybody, and toodaloo!